right. Thanks for being here, man.
Dude, thanks for having me, man.
So good to see you. It has been many moons.
It's a couple moons, man. Yeah. But hey, you're looking well, man.
So are you.
Hey,
yeah.
Appreciate that.
You're always looking well, though. You're a finely dressed man.
on a good day, man.
Well, every time I see you and all the photos that you post, you look swell.
Hey, dude, thank you.
I guess you have to, though. You're in the public eye a lot now.
Well, I wouldn't say so. I guess I wouldn't think of it that way, but I just do my thing, man.
Do your thing. That's cool. All right. Well, how would you prefer that I introduce you? Because I know you as Del Hartley, but whenever I'm talking to Dan, our friend Dan, he's like, "Oh, Arthur," and I'm like, "Who is Arthur?"
Right? Who is Arthur? Yeah. Honestly, Arthur, I would say Arthur is he's behind the scenes. He's my manager. He responds to all the emails. He does a lot. He handles a lot of the booking, and then Del Hartley just shows up and he does his thing, man. So.
That's cool. That's funny. So you kind of have like two personas. So when somebody isn't paying you, Arthur can be the badass.
Exactly, and we got some other people on the team that can do that as well. So if I really, really don't want to deal with it, there's options.
Yeah, that's awesome. Back when I was starting out in business, it's always difficult to get people to pay you sometimes. And so I actually created this fake email address for a lady named Janice, who is the head of billing. And she, when people weren't paying, she would send out an email, which is just me.
Yes.
But it's amazing how fast people pay you,
dude,
when they think that you're a legitimate company and you got more people.
World's of difference, man. And it's all about perception, sadly.
Yeah, I know. Things have changed now. Things have changed. So what have you been up to, man? What's been keeping you busy?
Just work, man. Just working on music, just trying to develop my skills, trying to get better at what I do. I'm trying to just be out performing, writing new music, collaborating with people, doing a little more television, doing some cross promotions with different brands. So just trying to put my hands on a little bit of everything, man.
That's super cool. Has that all kind of come up in the last year or so? Because I know you had a brand partnership come up.
Yes.
Which is pretty huge, right?
Yeah. So I had a brand partnership with Uniqlo last year. We did a little campaign, which is really, really cool.
That's sick.
It was my first partnership, so it was actually a really, really cool experience. And just since then, it's just been snowballing into other things, and other people have been reaching out and just kind of taking advantage of those opportunities.
Would you say that opened some doors for you?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
It's going back to perception, man. It's like as soon as somebody or a credible brand works with somebody that's unknown to a lot of people, and you make that connection, people are just like, oh wow, they take you more seriously.
Yeah, he must be legit. Yeah, that's awesome. And you probably got some sweet swag out of that.
Oh, definitely, man. Actually, this jacket I'm sporting is actually from Uniqlo. So shout out to Uniqlo. I know I'm not supposed to put it in the camera, but shout out to them. But
they know. Yeah, that's awesome. That's super cool. So let's dive into a bit about your history, because I'm not sure how much you know about the show, but I try to. It's called The Road Traveled, and as you can imagine, we're trying to get back to learn a little bit more about you and the certain paths that you took to get to where you are, that kind of thing. So tell me a little about yourself. Where are you from? How did you get into music?
So, born and raised in Ottawa, Ontario. Both my parents actually immigrated to Ottawa like the mid '80s. They're both from like West Africa, Liberia. Wow. They actually left the Civil War that was kind of going on.
Okay.
So just kind of. Obviously, when you're born and you're in another country, obviously you don't know any better, and then you kind of grow up and you kind of look at your surroundings and you're just like, oh. Then you do some more history on like where you're from, and I just kind of came to the realization where it's just like I'm extremely blessed to kind of be in this situation, to be in a country that is it's beautiful, it's so diverse, and it's. Like you've seen the movie, I hate to use this as a reference, but you've seen the movie Blood Diamonds with Leonardo DiCaprio, right?
Yeah.
Essentially, yeah.
Wow.
Dude, yeah.
That's real.
So like just doing that, or just first of all, just taking that into consideration and thinking about, what could have been, made me really appreciate, everything that's around me. And, it's when you kind of find what you love to do, you kind of have to go into it full hearted, man. So that's kind of what happened for me.
Wow, that's incredible. Were your parents into music at all?
They played a lot of music around the house.
Yeah.
On the weekends when I was forced to do chores, so there was always music playing in the background. So it was cool. It was a cool energy, cool vibe. And my dad used to he used to DJ for like a lot of like family friends parties. Very cool. He had like a room cool collection. So I'd always just kind of go through it and just kind of delve into it.
Was it all vinyl?
No, half vinyl, half CDs. He had like, that was like back in the day when the big CD books was like.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's hilarious. Good for him. That's awesome. So what was kind of your first introduction into, well, I guess you kind of just covered that, but like maybe your first artist that you connected with that kind of sparked that interest for you?
For me, Michael Jackson. I've told the story before, but the one Saturday I was doing chores and I was kind of going through like my mom and like my parents' old like cassette tapes, and like I popped it in, and like there was a recorded concert of Michael Jackson live in Bucharest.
Okay.
Like he was that's like him like wearing like the gold pants and like the army like the bullets across his like, and I'm just like, who is this man? And like you kind of see him doing his thing, and like you see him like perform with such conviction. It's just like you can't take your eyes off of him. And I'm just like, okay, wow, this is cool. And then from there, just kind of went to the rabbit hole, started learning more songs, started listening to more songs, started singing more songs, and then started singing in the shower. And then the shower singing, you take it from the shower to actually sing in front of an audience, and then boom.
That's awesome. So how many years have you been pursuing this? Like full time?
Actually, I would say like I'm actually pursuing this part time, man. And the reasoning why, because it's like a lot of people, like if you wanna have some sort of consistency, you kind of have to set it like a little standard. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, everybody's got to live.
Right. Yeah.
Everybody's got to live, and people need money, and you have to work jobs in order to do that. So it's all about finding like the side hustles. So I'm thankful that I've actually found I've put myself in positions that I can do work that can sustain my living situation, as well as I can work on music while when I want to, and it's super flexible.
Cool.
But sorry, the question, I don't think I answered your question, but
no, but I'm glad that you went down that route, because it is something that when people look at you from the outside, or any musician, any artist, really, it looks like they're doing this full time hustle. They got to, everything is going into that. With what you just said is just, it's the reality for everybody.
Oh yeah.
Unless, I mean, you're the top 10% or whatever, but like everybody has a side hustle. Everybody
does, man, and that's the thing. Like there's a lot of artists that I've met where they kind of go into it full time, and they're not as consistent, or they kind of put it down, and they say like, I'm taking a break from music. But like if you pace yourself, it's more like a marathon, man, not a sprint. You gotta look at the bigger picture in the long run, man. Yeah. So
I've been saying that a lot this year, and also on this podcast, and I've gotten this from the podcast. Every time I talk to somebody, I've realized it's the long game. Everything takes time.
100%.
This overnight success thing that people seem to have. I mean, I'm sure there's a few people that find a very quick success. For whatever reason, but for the majority of the rest of us human beings, it's it's dedication. It's a long game.
Actually, I've been going to this conference. It's called the We Love Music Conference. It happens in the States. So Rico Love, he's a producer, artist, songwriter. He's worked with Usher. He's worked with Beyonce, Destiny's Child, Kelly Rowland. You name any like top artist in like the R&B hip hop genre in like the 2000s, the 2010s. Like he's the guy.
Yeah.
And like he had like the perfect analogy for him. And you gotta look at it like the one hit wonders. It's like you go to a basketball game, and it's like the half court shot, and they give you the ball, and that you shoot the half court shot, and when you make it, everybody kind of goes crazy for you. That is the one hit wonder.
Yeah.
So you got to think about it. It's just like, do you want to not everybody's gonna go crazy for him the every single time, and you're also not gonna make it. But if you're steady working on your 3-point shot, you make your 3-point shot. By the time they notice you got like 30 points rather than the one. So
sure,
that's kind of how you got to look at it. So
and you want to have a legacy of. It would suck to have a legacy of a one hit wonder.
Yeah, not to
you don't want to be a karaoke song.
Yeah. Not to knock those that have done it, but like, yes, that's not in the plans to be a one hit wonder.
Yeah, it's all about longevity.
Yes, sir.
That's cool. That's very cool. Do you do a lot of conferences like that?
I try to, man, because like one, it's good for the information is great.
Yeah.
Connecting with a lot of those guys. So like I met Rico Love, I met Brian Michael Cox, who's like the like guy. He's got like 9 Grammys, and it's kind of like shooting the shit with him, just kind of like we're talking right now. It's that kind of vibe, man. So just being able to get gems from them, being able to connect with the other attendees from the conference and working with them, it's huge. So like I love going to those kind of conferences. I encourage anybody who is in the arts to kind of go in and, you find like another network.
Yeah. Cool. So how have you found the Toronto scene for your style of music? Because I'm familiar with your stuff, but like I'm maybe not familiar with the scene that you playing in, like the R&B and soul type thing, right? So is the Toronto scene good for that, or are you just kind of like ruling it right now?
I'm just like when I originally, because I'm from Ottawa, and I would say like the music scene isn't like that. That big in Ottawa, or like even like the entertainment scene, really like not a lot of huge artists would like even pass through. So that was actually one of the decisions I made, or one of the reasons why I decided to move from Ottawa to come here, because it's obviously a bigger market. There's way more people. There's actually there's a music station.
So you're telling me you weren't playing on Parliament Hill?
I was not busking out of Parliament Hill.
No, you weren't invited to play for all the politicians?
I try to reach out, but it's maybe it wasn't their cup of tea when I was like 14. So
yeah, JT's been busy.
But to answer your question about the Toronto scene, like it's cool. Like I would say the mainstream of the majority of the artists that are actually getting played, that's one side. But like the underground scene and like the live music and the scenes that a lot of the musicians run through, it's such a tight knit community. A lot of people know everybody, and like so kind of like the 6 degrees of separation. You can kind of meet anybody who you want to meet with that. So like I love it. A lot of people support here. I always make it an effort to go out and support other acts, because it's all about us. We're in it all together.
Yeah, man. Like it's there's probably a gentle side of like competition, because everybody wants to make it in one way or another. But I think everybody tries to support each other as much as they can. Yeah. At least in my world, and I imagine it's very similar. It's a creative endeavor. Everybody's artists, right? Everybody wants to see everybody succeed.
Yes.
That's it.
But the thing is, like, a lot of people got to realize there's enough out here for everybody to eat. And it's just like, if you go in and you're genuine about what you want to accomplish and working with the people that you work with, things will come. Yeah, opportunities will come, and it's all that stuff is if you focus on the art and focus on the development, everything else, it's all just it's a byproduct of it. So
yeah, and everybody has their own flavor of everything, right? That's on what you just said, like there's enough for everybody to eat. When you're good enough, I find that everybody has a little bit of something different that they offer to whatever it is that they're doing, and that's what they get well known for, which is very cool.
Yeah, man. Like everybody's got a fingerprint, man. That's what separates, me from you, and from anybody. That's in any art endeavor. As long as you bring yourself to the table and you have something to offer. Exactly.
And your own flavor of it. Yeah. That's super cool. Let's talk a little bit about the opportunity that you had, I guess, within the last year on the launch. I don't know how much you like talking about that or whatever, but it was pretty cool that happened.
Oh yeah, man! Super grateful for the opportunity, man.
Yeah, how'd that happen?
So I know it's first of all, it's television. Like I do have a background in like television and film, so I kind of know how that world works.
Sure.
I got reached out to. So one of the producers on the show, I think she used to be an A&R. Shout out to Kate. She's super awesome. But she reached out to me, and she told me about the opportunity, and I said it was a really cool opportunity. So what do I have to lose, really?
Yeah, totally.
So kind of just jumped right in, and I've been super super blessed about the opportunity. I loved it, just in terms of the contacts and the networks I've made, and it's helping. So
that's awesome. Yeah, I was gonna say, like any exposure is probably good exposure with that stuff, right?
Oh yeah.
And I watched some of the things. I watched the audition that you did, and I loved how just you did your song, and then they all kind of got into it. The one guy went up and grabbed a guitar, and you guys just started jamming out. That is so cool.
Yeah, man. Now Rogers, man. Shout out to him too. He's a legend.
Yeah,
legend. It's funny because like I actually, I'm like giving all the tell all about the launch now, but it's like I actually went in and did 3 songs. I know they only aired 1,
right?
But I did like 3 songs. I actually started off with a cover, and then an upbeat cover, and then an upbeat original, and then like the soft like ballad type song that actually got aired. So but yeah, like for Now Rogers to play on my song, that's cool. So it's like.
Yeah, it was fun to watch. I remember I was just trying to like do a bit of research and just thought that would be a great way to do it. And I remember I had this big smile on my face when I saw that happen, because I don't think I've ever seen that in any of these shows before. how everybody just started like jamming out, and you kind of like, yeah, it was such a cool vibe. He was stoked. The ladies were just loving what you're putting down.
Man, and actually that's another thing, man. Shout out to the launch and Eyesight Productions for putting it on, because I love the format. It's different. It's not your traditional thing, and I thought it was really cool, and I was really happy to be a part of it.
Cool. Yeah, Canadian television.
Yeah,
that's what's up. That's so cool. So you do a lot of content stuff on your own. Is that, yeah, like you are constantly pumping content out. How important is that for what you're doing right now?
It's super important right now, because like we're in the the digital age, and it's all about keeping people's attention. So it's like, what can you put out? Like what can you do? Like, are you out touching the people? And by touching the people, I mean like doing live shows.
Sure.
Yeah.
We get it.
But yeah, it's all about like what can you give? Really, what can you give? And that's really the trade off. You give, and they'll get back.
Yeah. Do you enjoy doing that stuff? Because I know a lot of people have a hard time with they would rather just be like the true artists, not have to be out there self-promoting, that kind of thing. Do you enjoy that aspect of it on social media?
To be completely honest, I don't love it. It's a love-hate relationship, but it's in this day and age, you have to do that. You have to do that, because the times have changed. Like, a lot of, as an artist, you don't necessarily need a label to get out. And like ownership for me, it's important. It's really important for me to own my, to own my masters, to own my publishing, because, it's intellectual property. Like as creators, as we put our blood, sweat, and tears into everything. And, for you to just kind of, give it away, it's, nah, but like, we have the internet as a platform, so that's why it's super important to do those things too.
It is so interesting. Have you, in the short while that you've been doing this, have you seen a big shift? Like, obviously, there's been a shift in how things are with the internet, but how have you noticed it changing in the last 5-6 years?
Just the reach, man. You can go directly to your consumer, man. It's like you can cut out the middleman, and you can go directly to who you want to sell your product to, and just handle business that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And then like, being here in Toronto, in Canada, like I didn't think I would have like, fans in like in Europe and like China. So it's like just getting those, it's without the internet, that wouldn't happen. So
true. That's super cool.
Yeah.
Have you done any touring?
I'm looking to do that now. So like I've been doing a lot of small shows here in like in Toronto, like in Ottawa and Montreal. I'm starting to do more things stateside.
Cool.
And just looking to kind of just build it up now. So
yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah, do you think that that's the next major move, or do you think that artists now, like where before, I know artists had to tour, that's how they got out there. But now, like you said, with the internet, probably a little bit less of that. Do you feel like there's a pressure to get out there on the road and do that kind of thing? Or is it more of like, I just want to play shows for all my fans, that's why I want to do this? Kind
of both. Because like for me, I would say the performance part, I love the performance aspect of it. That's the part that I love. I enjoy. It's therapeutic for me.
Yeah.
And on the flip side, like you have to, like, it's like you said, back in the day, artists had to tour. You still have to tour. Right now, even with the internet, with streaming, we're kind of at a disadvantage because, like people that do like crazy numbers, they can do like 50 million streams and they're only getting a check for like $1,500.
Sure.
It's like, it doesn't really equate. So it's like right now my mindset with that, it's like the music is free. It's promo, even though it takes so much time and it takes so much time and effort and money to produce. But that's the promo. It's free. And then that's a promo for them to come see you at the show. And that's really how you make your money. So,
and what do you enjoy more, the live performance aspect or the writing, the recording, the producing? All of that stuff.
The live aspects. It takes everything else, like the production phase. Well, pretty much all that, the entire process, and you get to share it and engage with people.
Yeah.
So definitely the performance aspect.
Yeah. Do you find yourself like falling into a zone almost when you're performing? It's just like, this is my happy spot.
Oh yeah.
Everything fades away. All the the rest of life.
All the times, man. And like shout out to my band that are they're super talented. They're tight. And like sometimes like I'll catch myself like mid performance, like I'll be in it and then you kind of catch yourself listening.
Right. Yeah.
Then you kind of screw yourself up, but
it's part of it.
Exactly, man.
It's live performance.
Hey.
Yeah, it adds the realness to it, right? The human element. It can't be perfect.
Oh, exactly, man.
Yeah, that's super cool. What would you say your music's about?
Life, really, man. Like I try to draw from like my own experiences or like people that have been around their experiences and things that I've kind of gone through. So it's like easily like obviously love, heartbreak, lust, like peace in the world, and just kind of songs that kind of bring people together. And so
do your songs come easily to you, or is it like a long process of like really hashing out some of the details?
Depends on the song, to be completely honest. Like some songs, you can bang it out in like, half an hour. And some songs, it takes like months to really kind of get it done. And by that, it's like you can have an idea, but it's like, it's not really done or completed. So you kind of have to kind of go back and kind of pick at it and, alter it and change it. But some songs, it just feels good and it's done. And other songs, it takes longer. So that's the process.
Do you have a whole bunch of like started songs on your desktop that you kind of know are there, but you're a little bit scared to go back to because you know how daunting it may be?
I wouldn't say they're not on the desktop, but they're in a separate folder that's called, sketches. So actually I do make it a point to every single day to make a progression. It could be good, it could be total shit, but as long as it's something, I'm exercising those muscles, and I put it in a little folder called sketches. And then whenever I need to draw inspiration, or if I'm having like a flat day, I'm just like, let me just go through this. And I can open a session or like a like a beat that I made that's like like 4 months old, and I can take like the drum pattern from that and put some new chords over it, or vice versa. So it's good to keep everything, and then you can draw inspiration from it. That's
cool. Try and improve a little bit every day.
Dude, you have to. Something about consistency. You have to keep doing it. And like for me, like as an artist, like you have to. It's all about development. How can I get better? How can I push those boundaries? So
even on days where you're not really feeling it, right? Do you find that you have to like sometimes really force yourself to do it?
Yeah, man. And like for me, like I guess the way that I kind of combat that, because like as a singer, I play keys, and like I've been practicing guitar, so like just depending on whatever it is or however I'm feeling, if I don't feel like singing that day, like I'll make sure I always do like a vocal warm up to make sure I'm kind of warm, so at least I've done some sort of singing, and then I'll either play keys for like half an hour to an hour, or play guitar for half an hour to an hour, or alternate it. So
that's good. There's like various outlets that you can do that, because I know for me sometimes I will feel like I just don't feel like doing anything today. I'll avoid my office wholeheartedly, just so I don't have to, because I know once I open my computer, there's something that I'm going to have to do that I'm just like, I'm not feeling it today.
Yeah.
So it's cool to have like various outlets, whatever that may be. For me, it may be, take a walk and shoot some photos, something that simple, just to get those muscles or those brain cells activated a little bit.
Yeah, man. Sometimes it's good to kind of step away from it and like, listen to your body. Like if your body is saying like, I'm not in the mood to make this, maybe if you force yourself, you might not make the best thing.
That's the thing. It's interesting because nowadays I've heard a lot lately about this hustle culture, and no matter what, every day you're putting everything into it and just hustling. Where I've also read articles and various other things where other directors have been like, hey, if you're trying to write a short film, for example, and you only have an hour or 2 hours a day in you of like good writing, don't force it past that. What's the point? Spend those 2 hours, do the best work you can, and just leave it at that.
Facts.
Because, well, you're right. Like you're just going to be aggravated the whole time and not putting the best work into it, and end up hating it and then not going back to it, whatever it may be.
Right, taking steps backwards, man.
It's all part of the process, right?
Exactly.
I thought of this little, I don't want to say mantra, but like this idea that I'm trying to apply to my everyday now. It's do something to progress. So whether that's reading a book or studying something, reading an article, whatever it may be, progress somehow, do something I'm passionate about. So maybe a personal project, or take some photos, whatever, brings me that joy, and then have fun. So whatever, you consider fun. And I think that's a good way to break up a day. Just, check those simple things off. You don't have to spend a ton of time, or you can spend a lot of time, whatever you want to do. But as long as you're getting those things done, and if that's what's making you happy, and right now that's kind of what I try to focus on, then I've succeeded.
Dude, that's just a framework. That's a framework right there. You should call that a mantra, because it actually, it's true. It is true.
Yeah. So, and you lose, it's tough too when you try to put these into a routine and it works for a couple of days, but then you forget about it a little bit, or you get sidetracked a little bit for whatever reason. But I think what you said as far as like consistency and just trying every day is, on a basic level, so important.
It's key, man. It's all about muscle memory too, man. You just do it until you, it feels like second nature. Like whenever I go out or if I practice, or even before I even go into a rehearsal with my band, like I'll practice the songs, I'll practice my runs. So anything that I do on stage, it's been practice. You're never gonna you're never gonna see me try to like really freestyle, because one, that's not really me. And even with like a lot of singers, if you try to go and do like some freestyle, some note, it'll always go so left sometimes. So it's like, practice and just do what you practice.
Yeah, 100%. That makes perfect sense.
Yep.
Have you ever explored any other avenues of music, or has it always been like the R&B soul type thing? Like, have you ever tried rock?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't like, in terms of tried like make like a rock track, I haven't, but I have played with a lot of the elements.
Okay.
Rico Love told me this as well. It's like, listen to different genres, because you will find a different part of who you are in those genres, and then that's kind of how you find yourself really as an artist.
Yeah.
Like like growing up in Ottawa, like we didn't really have like a major hip hop station. It was like mainly like alternative or like a lot of country stuff, and like I guess like the bigger songs, you would hear them on like your top 40. But like anything from like, well, like, John Mayer, like Eric Clapton, like Linkin Park. Those have been on the playlist.
Yeah.
Those have been on the playlist.
Dude,
man.
they're classics though.
Yeah, man. And like, it's just the energy and like the rawness from like a lot of those things that at least that I've taken from it personally. And like, even like I've even seen some of the live shows. I try to study live shows and try to like borrow from like different artists, because that's really how you find your own thing, man.
Yeah. And that's probably something that, well, on like a musical standpoint, but also on a performance standpoint, right? Like, people probably don't think about it until you're in the situation, but part of being an artist and performing is your actual like stage presence. It's a huge thing.
It's a huge thing, man.
Yeah. How do you find that? Like, does that come naturally to you?
I wouldn't say like natural. It's definitely been like repetition. Like the more shows that I do, the more comfortable I get in the space. And like, one thing that I love to do, I love to engage the audience. I love to play stuff that that they'll be familiar with. I love to get them to sing and just kind of engage them and give them an experience, because at the end of the day, that's what they're paying for. So
totally. Yeah. I can relate to that. Just used to play guitar in multiple bands, and I remember starting out and being like, oh, I can't wait to get on stage and do one of those cool punk jumps with the guitar. And you do it once and you're like, whoa, let's not do that again. It never looks like it does in your head.
You're right.
Have you ever had the instance, I don't know if you've ever seen this, but when there was a video going around when Mumford & Sons was huge, and there was this video where he was singing and the crowd was overpowering him singing it, and he kind of stepped away from the mic and had this kind of like deeply emotional moment of like, wow, this many people know my music. Have you ever had an experience like that, where have you ever like noticed like people in the crowd, they're singing your tunes and you're kind of like, whoa, this is cool?
I would say like in a crowd, like pockets of people, but and like not. I wouldn't say as of yet. I'm not at the point where like an entire like mob does.
Yeah, but like even having one person, I feel like would be pretty special.
That's it's surreal, honestly, and like. A lot of songs, like especially when it comes to like the bridge section, I'll try to make it like super hooky so that people can sing along. Sure. And I encourage that at the show, man. Mm-hmm. And like it's even cool like after you do a set and people are just like do an encore, and then they're shouting out songs that that are not even, you haven't even rehearsed with your band on the set, and I'm just like, how does this person even know? But it's cool, man. Yeah. It's humbling, man. So.
Do you ever freestyle those, like when people toss out requests? So you kind of like, all right, boys, follow me, kind of thing.
No. I try to stay in my lane and what I'm good at, know what my strengths are, and I applaud the individuals who can do that, because like I see people do that, and I'm just like, wow, like I personally wish I could do that, but freestyling is not.
Why force it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's cool. What's your songwriting process like, and where does your inspiration come from? I know that you talked a little bit like, oh, it's about life, love, all of those things, but I'm just wondering, do you get an idea for songs every day? Like, are you walking down the street and you have this idea for a song and it gets you jazzed up, or like where does it come from? I
would say it's more like on the fly. It's mainly melodies and melody ideas come to me, and then like I always just pull out my iPhone, I make a voice note, and then I take that voice note back home, and then I just kind of start dressing it up. And like really my process is I start with the music, and then whatever the music is kind of telling me, and then that will dictate the feel of it. And then it's like, okay, have I been through the situation, or who was I talking to, or who was the last person that I was talking to that our conversation was it felt the way that this music feels, because at the end of the day, music is a conversation. So it's like I just try to take, just conversations from people. So I can probably, take one or two things that, that we've been talking about today, and, I can translate that to something else.
Write a podcast on.
Hey, I would say another big thing too is like that helps me, like having a team. Like I do have guys that I write with. I do have other producers that I collaborate with, and it's way better. It makes the workflow way easier because some days if I'm having an off day, they can have like an on day, and that can spark something in me to come up with some other things, and vice versa. So yeah.
Do you ever find that because like art is deeply personal, but also extremely collaborative? Do you ever find this happened to me yesterday, where I'll have an idea, I'm developing it for a couple of weeks, I'm kind of like careful of who I want to tell about it because A, I don't know if it's good enough. B, like you're a little bit afraid somebody's gonna like take your idea and run with it or whatever it may be. But yeah, yesterday I kind of tossed it out to a buddy of mine, and he started tossing ideas at me, and my head exploded, and I got super excited about the project again. And you just start seeing all these new avenues that could go down. Does that ever happen to you?
All the time, man.
Yeah.
All the time, man. And it's a great thing, man. It's like the thing is, it's like you have an idea, but it's, I just love to collaborate because I just know that I don't know everything. So I just love to take one thing and just, just send it to somebody else and just get the ball rolling. Because, if we put, if my idea can only take it so far, and somebody else can definitely take it to the next level. So
100%.
Yeah.
Super cool. When did you kind of discover that? Because I'm just thinking, any artists, musicians coming up right now, that have that vibe where they don't know if they want to tell anybody. They don't even know yet that like music can be extremely collaborative, and that really helps you to take it to the next level. Like when did that lock in that you have to share this stuff and kind of team up with people?
When I guess it really locked in when it worked.
Right. Okay. That makes sense.
When it worked, right? Because like sometimes you can collaborate or you can bounce some ideas and like, it doesn't really work out the way that you want it to work out. But when it actually works and, and when it works multiple times with the same people, you're like, okay, cool. I found a rhythm. This person, this individual, we work well together. We mesh well together. So it's like, they're a part of my process. Like they're two guys. Shout out to I'm gonna keep looking at the camera. Shout out to Architect. Shout out to Rolly. Two producers and songwriters that I work with. Like strictly, like almost every single song. Like
cool.
It's like I run it by them, and I'm just like, what do you feel, or how can we take this to another level, or if they say it's fine, it's fine.
That's cool.
So
that's sweet. That's so important to having like that network of creatives and people looking in on your stuff. Do you get a lot of people sliding into your DMs being like, yo, let's work together?
Dude, all the time, man. And it's funny because like when I was looking for people, where were they at? You know what I mean? Where were they at? Now that I'm just like, I finally got a little rhythm, like I can't, like everybody's reaching out, and it's just like the reality is like there's only so much time in a day. I can't work with everybody.
Yeah.
I cannot work with everybody. And it doesn't mean that like I don't respect what they're doing. It's just like I'm at a point right now where it's like in order for me to, the reason why you're reaching out to me, I need to keep doing that consistently to to kind of uphold or whatever you see in me for the reason you're reaching out.
It becomes a little bit counterproductive.
Yeah.
You spend more time responding and stuff like that. I totally get it. Meeting up with them, talking about things when you should be doing work and stuff like that. I get it.
And that's the thing, man. And it's like for me, like it was becoming an issue where it's just like, okay, cool, I'm working with people and like things aren't getting done. I need to get things done, and it's you got to say no. You have to say no. Saying no is a powerful thing.
Well, it's tough because when you're starting out, it's interesting. I was listening to a podcast the other day where somebody was talking about this. When you're starting out, you want to say yes to everything. You don't want to pass up on an opportunity. And even when you start saying no, it's not that you like. I have a hard time saying no to things, even if I know that I have to, and it's not the right time for me to be doing something. I'm getting better at it, but I still feel bad because it's like, oh, what if this blows up and turns into this like big thing, or like I would really love to work with this person. You just don't have the capacity for it. So I think that's part of the learning process of just realizing that you actually do need some downtime to be a productive, creative human.
100%.
It's very important.
And like I just tell like a lot of the individuals that are that I see that are promising, I'll let them know like right now is not the perfect time. It's not the right time. I think the stuff that you've shown me, I think it's really dope. But like when things kind of free up, I'll reach out, or I'll ask you to send me like some beats, and if anything that kind of works or feels right, then the guys on my team will work together with you. So it's yeah.
Cool. Serious question.
Yes.
Do you nap?
Oh, I'm all about the naps, man.
Dude.
All about the naps.
I love it. I'm new to this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it took me to turning 31 years old to realize that napping is actually a huge part of adult life.
Dude, it's key, man. It is key. Because like, honestly, if you take naps, I try, like on days that I have off that I don't have to, if I'm just working on music stuff, or even if I got like a crazy day and I got to do like day job stuff or whatever else, like I'll take naps, because like I'm usually going to bed at like 3, 4 in the morning. Like even like last night, like I had this event that I had to go to, and then I had a rehearsal, and then after the rehearsal, I wanted to come home and I wanted to get some playing in because I didn't have time to play. And like I went to bed like 4:30 this morning, and then got up, had a conference call with actually another drummer that my bassist knows, and then here we are.
Now, so,
but naps are key, man. Half an hour to 45 minutes. Don't do over an hour or else you get groggy. But it varies from person to person.
Yeah. So here's the thing, because that was my concern, because I was of the opinion like naps would be an hour sleep, whatever it is, and I always felt like crap when I woke up. And then I heard all these people talking about this. A few good friends of mine are like, oh no, man, you got to nap. And so last week I did this. I just fell asleep on my bed for like literally 5 to 10 minutes. Didn't really get into a deep sleep, just like closed my eyes, went out, woke up. It was like 10 cups of coffee. Like I was back in it.
Makes a difference, man.
Big difference.
Yeah, man. And it's cool because I know like there's some artists, I know Ryan Leslie, he does this a lot. He takes a lot of naps, so he puts himself on like a 3-hour sleep cycle, which is like psycho, because out of the entire day, we can only really focus on things like, is it 4 hours at a time?
Apparently.
Yeah, apparently it's 4 hours at a time.
Which makes sense to me. I feel that all the time.
Yeah, so it's like if you nap and you try to get more out of your day, you can actually get more out of that. You get more 4 hour blocks out of things. So, but yeah, it depends on people. Like I can function on on minimal sleep. But you obviously can't do it all the time, because another thing that I've actually been running into, like I've been getting sick. That's another thing I gotta take care of my voice. Like the last show that I did 2 weeks ago, my voice actually kind of blew out, and I was just like, what? I need to take a step back.
Yeah.
I need to go on vocal rest. I need to not talk to people, drink tea, and just kind of relax and recharge the batteries, because
that's why you're about the tea now.
Yeah, man. Burning out is a serious thing, and when you do that, it's like taking steps backwards, man. Because it takes like a week for you to get better, and then another week for you to get back into the swing of things, and then obviously things are still happening, and then you're just playing catch up.
I think that's why I'm so diligent now. Like I am in bed by like 11:30 usually, and when I go out with friends, and that's coming with maybe we're all just getting older, but like things are wrapping up at like 12:30 at the latest. I can still be in bed at like 1:30.
Oh, dude, like I got this thing where sometimes after a session on like a Friday, I got a couple friends that like work at a couple bars. So like I'm usually coming from the East End going back to the West. So like I'll stop by like 2-3 bars. Yeah. Say hi to some people, do my hi, show face, and then like I'm in bed by like 1:30. Yeah. 1:30, and I've hit like 4 or 5 different spots, and I'm just like, all right, cool, I'm done.
Yeah. That's crazy. How old are you?
I'm 29.
Cool. All right. So yeah. It'll hit you.
I know. 30 this year, man.
Yeah. It is interesting to see how it changes. And it sounds like a bit of an excuse, I guess. But like, no, I don't, like, I can't function on no sleep as well as you can, apparently. So
same with Dan. No.
Yeah. So
shout out to Dan Wood.
Yeah. No, he's a zombie. I love it. But yeah, I have found that like, I make sure I go to bed at a good time so I can make the next day at least a little bit enjoyable. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, I don't know, I have headaches. I'm relying too much on coffee, which I'm doing anyways.
It's almost a write-off, man.
Yeah. And like being the creative artists that we are, it's very easy to be like, I'm just not feeling it today. I'm going to do nothing, which also isn't great. I mean, every once in a while, those days are needed.
Yeah, but if you start getting into a cycle of that, then you're procrastinating.
It is very easy to let up. The moment you let up, and it's very easy to sit on the couch all day long. So I don't like to let myself get into that zone.
I feel you.
I'm really glad that we covered that topic. I think I'm going to start bringing up a nap section to every podcast from now on, because this is like a study. And I feel
You
like,
should do a tally and see how many people actually.
yeah, dude, I feel like I just uncovered this massive secret that like nobody wanted to share with me. And not that I'm a huge napper yet, but I'm trying to integrate it a little bit. Apparently I've been missing out. Yeah. So what's next?
Next, so more shows. I'm actually doing my first festival this year, which I'm super stoked. I'm playing Blues Fest in Ottawa, so July 13th. Opening for Wu-Tang and Snoop Dogg, which is, I'm still trying to wrap my head around that, which is cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, to go back to my hometown with the band and just kind of shut it down and just have a good time, and hopefully I get to smoke a J with Snoop Dogg.
Dude. Yeah. That would be crazy. You should just have a camera rolling the whole time.
That's what I'm hoping for, man.
Yeah, 360 camera, do it.
Hey,
that would be cool.
I was telling guys on my team, I was just like, you know what? Like if that happens, everything for the rest of this year can go downhill. And the fact that I did television and I had a smoke with Snoop Dogg, that's okay. It's 2019. It's all right. It's been an all right year.
Dude, that's wild. That would be so cool. What was it like when did you have to apply to this festival, or did you just get a phone call and we're like, hey, you want to open up for Snoop Dogg?
Oh no, I wish. No, you have to apply, man. Like a lot of these shows, and especially like festival circuits and whatnot, you have to apply, and you actually got to do that's a whole nother side that like a lot of people don't know about. You gotta, you got to apply for a lot of things, man. But I applied, and they hit me up and like, yeah, you got in. And I was just like, sweet,
cool.
So and honestly, like it's going back to like the very first question about like doing like the cross collaborations with the cross collaborations with the brands, and now the launch. It's all those things are like, it's helping me kind of it's unlocking a lot of those doors for me, because like honestly, like I know I have the talent, I know that the act is there. It's just now I just need the eyes to kind of see. And yeah,
well, it's a big one. I imagine, especially right now, it's a little bit hard to stand out. You kind of need these breaks to get yourself in front of, like you said, the eyes, because there's so many people trying to do it.
So much noise, man. So you got to figure out how you're going to differentiate yourself from everybody else.
That's a good point that we should talk about. And something that people probably don't really think about or acknowledge or realize, like what is the breakup between like music and everything else, business, like taking care of all the back end stuff so that you can actually do these things.
Exactly, man. Like for me, like I've been, chasing and developing this since I was like 14, but this is like my 4th year doing this professionally. Like, having an HST number and actually filing taxes and writing off stuff and making sure that, that everything is good and people are actually paid and et cetera, et cetera. But it's super important, man, because at the end of the day, it's music business.
Yes.
If you're looking to make a career out of this, you actually have to, make it into a business, and you actually have to, have to brand yourself. And it's actually important, especially now in the digital age, and that, branding yourself will actually help you separate yourself from, the rest of the noise.
100%.
Yes.
Yeah. So what's that like, kind of, when you're booking a gig and you're having your band, obviously, you got to be making some cash out of that, right? Because people got to get paid.
Yeah.
So is it like, are you negotiating a lot, or is it usually like, oh, we pay X amount for you to do this kind of thing? Or do you go into it being like, this is my bottom line, I need at least this?
Yeah, no, for like, as of right now, when we're working with different venues or whatever the events are, I need to have a certain amount. We've got a tech writer, all that other stuff, and make sure that it's good so that my guys are taken care of. Because before I kind of started to catch momentum, like I was doing band shows and everything would be coming out of my pocket. So it's pretty much I'm paying my band to perform live. So, and it's like at first, some people would be like, oh man, why are you doing this? But the thing is, people notice, and you working with a band, obviously you kind of have to go through the motions and know how all that stuff works. Cause there's actually like a band or like a live, set etiquette.
Sure.
And I'm actually glad that I kind of went through that, because like now it's like I'm making that money back. So,
well, it's like starting out in anything. You kind of have to invest a little bit to make a little bit, right?
100%.
And you're not going to get your foot in the door, those opportunities, unless you're willing to throw down a little bit of cash.
That is fact, man. You gotta pay to play.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I'm glad that it's kind of going full circle for you.
Hey, man.
Have you noticed? This may be only me. I've mentioned it a few times, but I've noticed there's about a 2-year turnaround in some of these like investments, whether it be relationships or whatever it may be, for it to kind of come back around and go full circle. Have you noticed that at all?
Yeah, actually, well, because like it was like 2 years ago where I was like almost every single gig or every single band gig that I was doing, I was paying. But now it's like I can actually do a gig, pay them, what they're supposed to be getting paid, and actually have some money left over to put, to either throw back into or just to kind of reinvest it.
Yeah.
So it's definitely like a 2 year. I'm starting to see, the fruits of the fruits of the labor.
Sure.
So to speak.
It's a long game, man.
Yeah,
you
dude.
got it.
It's all about consistency and doing that at the end of the day. So.
Yeah. And I like how you said reinvesting. I think that's a very important.
100%, man.
Yeah. Very cool. So so you got this big festival coming up. That's very exciting. What's after that?
After that, just more shows and more opportunities and looking to tour. I've actually been looking into. I'm like giving everybody plugs now. I'm thinking about it. So there's this app called a Red Pine. So it's essentially they do like a lot of crowdfunding for like it's pretty much like a platform to. You can kind of see where your demographic is, and you can kind of get people to pledge. So it's like, okay, I'm going to Montreal. I'm going to do a show, and I want 100 people to pledge to to come to the show. And if we actually get that, then the show gets confirmed. We can actually book that way, so you can actually plan your touring. So
Very
shout out
cool.
to Red Pine. I forget the owner's name off the top of it. It is in an email, but. Yeah, but shout out to him.
That's a wicked idea for an app and so cool.
Yeah, man. It's pretty much just like what's the
Kickstarter?
Kickstarter, yeah, pretty much bidding on your tours.
But like it's so much more than It's so much more than just like the money aspect of it, right?
Yeah, man.
So cool. I love that.
Great
Innovation.
platform. Dude, technology, man. It's you got to use these tools in order to to elevate yourself. So
Yeah, especially now anything that helps you differentiate yourself just even a little bit. It's super cool. Okay, so anybody coming up in the world of music and they want to make a run at it like yourself, and I want to be the next Del Hartley. What do you tell them to do? Like if you're putting on one of these conferences one day and people are coming up to you asking questions, what are you telling them to do?
As cliche as it may sound, just do it.
Yeah.
Get out and just do it. Experiment. Experiment. Try things, and because you're not going to get it right the first time. And like another thing that like Rico Love actually said that stuck out to me, it's like no matter what, like there are 10 million no's waiting for every single person. I could make it tomorrow and there will still be no's to hear. So it's all about getting over those hurdles and figuring out how you can, get over these obstacles and kind of do things. So it's just go out and do it. Go out and do it. Find people that support you and, get them to ride with you.
That's sick.
It's
great advice. It's like you said, I wouldn't even say it's cliche because it's true. It's 100% true. That's what it is.
Yeah, man. And it's just like a lot of people, they have they have this the expectation where it's just like, I'm gonna do one song, the song's gonna blow up, and then it's all happy sailing from there. But no, you have to build a relationship, man. It's all about turning those audience members into fans, turning those fans into family, and then just growing that, and everything else will be a byproduct of that. So that would be the best piece of advice.
That's sweet. Well, I've talked about everything I want to talk about. I think this was a great conversation. Is there anything that we haven't covered that you've been kind of itching to say?
You can follow me on social media.
That was the next part. Yeah.
You can follow me on social media. I'm on Instagram, Del Hartley Official. Del Hartley on Twitter. And honestly, you can just Google Del Hartley and the first two pages, you'll find me.
Yeah. Well, this was a great conversation. Congratulations on all your success. It's been really fun kind of watching you progress in the last couple of years. So glad to have you on the show. Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you for having me, and I appreciate it.
Of course.